The holographic display flickered to life in the central command chamber of New Terra Station, casting an eerie blue glow across the faces of the assembled human delegation. Admiral Kinza Rahman leaned back in her chair, a slight smirk playing at the corners of her mouth as she watched the pompous alien ambassador materialize before them. "Greetings, primitive humans," the Zephyrian delegate began, his forearms gesticulating dramatically. His translator device rendered his words in perfect standard English, though it couldn't quite mask the condescension dripping from every syllable. "I am High Commander Vexthul of the Galactic Dominion. After 3 millennia of peace, we have decided that your species has grown too troublesome." Commander Adnan Malik, seated to Kinza's left, barely suppressed a chuckle. He exchanged glances with his colleague, remembering the intelligence reports they'd been reviewing just hours earlier. The so-called Galactic Dominion consisted of exactly 7 species, most of whom had achieved faster-than-light travel only within the last few centuries. "The armistice signed by your ancestors is hereby declared null and void," Vexthul continued, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the holographic projectors. "You will surrender your colonies, dismantle your fleets, and submit to our rightful rule. You have 72 of your Earth hours to comply." Kinza stood slowly, her dress uniform impeccable despite the early morning hour. At 35, she had already earned her reputation as one of humanity's most brilliant tactical minds, having cut her teeth during the Outer Rim skirmishes with various pirate factions. Her dark eyes met the alien's compound ones without flinching. "High Commander," she began, her voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to command. "I believe there may be some confusion here. You seem to be operating under the assumption that we're the same species you encountered 3,000 years ago." Vexthul's mandibles clicked impatiently. "Humans are humans. Your biological scans match our records perfectly. You are the same weak, divided creatures we could have crushed millennia ago, had we chosen to do so." Adnan couldn't contain his laughter anymore. It started as a low rumble in his chest before erupting into full-blown mirth. Soon other members of the human delegation joined in, their laughter echoing through the chamber. The alien ambassador's 4 eyes narrowed in obvious irritation. "You find our declaration amusing?" Vexthul demanded. "Oh, absolutely," Kinza replied, wiping a tear from her eye. "Tell me, High Commander, what exactly do your historical records say about humanity circa the year 1025 CE? The alien's translator buzzed for a moment before responding. "Your species was divided into primitive tribal factions, wielding crude metal weapons and riding domesticated quadrupeds into battle. Your largest population centers contained perhaps 50,000 individuals. And what do your records say about our technological capabilities at that time? You had barely mastered the use of combustible powders for warfare. Your vessels were constructed of organic materials and required wind propulsion. Most of your population remained illiterate." Kinza nodded thoughtfully. "Adnan, would you mind sharing some statistics with our friend here?" Adnan activated his wrist display, data streaming across the holographic interface. "Certainly, Admiral. Current human population across 847 settled worlds and 2,341 space habitats. Approximately 890 billion individuals. Our newest Dreadnought-class vessels stretch 12 kilometers from bow to stern and are equipped with quantum entanglement communication arrays, matter conversion drives, and defensive systems that could withstand direct stellar bombardment." The alien's posture shifted slightly, though he maintained his haughty demeanor. "Impossible. No species advances that rapidly." "Oh, but we do," Kinza interjected. "You see, Commander, 3,000 years ago, humans had just figured out how to put metal shoes on horses. Today we're terraforming entire systems and building artificial suns. We've had precisely 3,000 years to grow, learn, and prepare." She gestured to the massive viewport behind her, where the sprawling megastructure of New Terra Station was visible. Ships the size of small cities moved through the construction yards like schools of metal fish, while massive orbital rings stretched toward the distant horizon. "During your little armistice," Adnan added, "we've been rather busy. We've colonized 4,000 systems, established trade networks spanning 3 galactic arms, and developed technologies your Dominion hasn't even begun to imagine. We've fought wars against entities that exist in higher dimensions and emerged victorious." Vexthul's compound eyes darted nervously between the two humans. You're Your intelligence report suggested you remained a fragmented species, constantly warring among yourselves. Oh, we still argue plenty, Kinza laughed. The Martian Parliament and the Europa Assembly can't agree on coffee preferences, let alone major policy decisions. But you know what's funny about humans, Commander? The moment someone from outside threatens our family, we stop being Martians, Europans, or Terrans. We become humanity. She activated her own display, showing real-time feeds from across human space. Massive fleets were already mobilizing, their crews representing dozens of different human subspecies and cultures, all united under a common banner. Your 7-species Dominion commands perhaps 200 warships, Adnan observed casually. Humanity's 5th fleet alone numbers over 10,000 vessels, and that's just what we keep stationed in this sector for routine patrols. The alien ambassador's confident bearing finally began to crack. This cannot be accurate. Our projections indicated. Your projections were based on 3,000-year-old data, Kinza interrupted. Tell me, High Commander, in those 3 millennia, how much has your own species advanced? Bexthol's silence was answer enough. That's what we thought, Adnan said with a grin. You've been coasting on the same technology, the same strategies, the same rigid thinking that got you where you are 3,000 years ago. Meanwhile, we've been evolving, adapting, growing stronger with each passing generation. Kinza stepped closer to the holographic projection, her expression shifting from amusement to something far more dangerous. So here's our counteroffer, High Commander. You have 72 hours to return to your Dominion and explain that the Armistice wasn't protecting us from you. It was protecting you from us. The connection terminated abruptly, leaving the human delegation in contemplative silence. Think they'll take the hint? Adnan asked. Kinza smiled, already reviewing fleet deployment schedules on her tablet.
Honestly?
I hope not. It's been far too quiet around here lately, and the recruits could use some live-fire exercises. Outside the viewport, humanity's war machine began to stir, ready to remind the galaxy why some sleeping giants should never be awakened.